What's that saying? Is it pay peanuts, get monkeys? I tell you what, being back here is giving me mixed emotions at the minute. Of course, always happy to get home. Always sad to leave Japan. However, I've got back, and honestly this place right now, as quick as we seem to do something new or fix something, something else seems to break. It's getting a bit much. We've had an absolute disaster with the boiler system. I'm going to tell you more about it because there was some big changes underway. But right now, we've got the system completely offline. It's been pissing water out at a crazy rate from the internal heat exchanger. And it's a disaster given that we've got a shipment arriving, a shipment of koi from my last trip. All them ones you watched me sort out, they're actually on their way to the site. They're going to be here very soon. We could have done with it. It's not too bad. Ambient temperature all right, and we've got a fix in place coming very soon. But it's all a bit chaotic. So you're going to get to see the shipment arriving as well, which is going to be really cool for you. The first batch of my own bred Showa from Japan, Miss Toyota Offspring, are going to be here in these ponds just a few months on when it all started. How crazy is that? But for now, I've also we've got one of the little changes made to the spray bar designs that I'm going to share with you. Nothing major, but it's a nice little tweak to share, and probably a bit of a walk around a few other things. Who knows? But for now, let me tell you what's gone wrong with this boiler. So all this shit stain in here is all from water leakage out of that. This is all completely offline now. I'll go into depth in the problems we've had since the extension was added to this system. It's not something I've really spoke about too much, but when I had new plumbers come and investigate, we had a leak, small leak around here, water, and he pointed out that having a look at the way that had been installed and shouldn't have been just sat on the ground like that, there was potential corrosion. The leak was coming from the internal heat exchanger. Yes, doesn't sound very good, does it? And it wasn't very good. So I was aware. The main reason I had the new firm out is since the extension to the new fish house was added, this one here, everything in this fish house, this has not functioned properly. It's kind of delivered, it's been working all summer to some extent, but progressively as you went down there, problems maintaining the higher temperatures have been plaguing us since its installation. Obviously we didn't, over the hottest of the summer months it wasn't a problem, but now recently as temps have tapered off again. So having lost faith in the previous plumbers who've done most of the install on site, I've had to take action. I brought somebody else in, and straight away as they began to look at everything and actually did some calculations, guys before never actually fucking did a thing, but I trusted them to deliver. It's just this install caught them out. Not only is there a massive balancing issue where when the system's really under pressure, we can be one direction, can almost lose heat completely. There's nothing in place. So we're rectifying that. They also run a load of calculations, and when the system's under the most amount of pressure during the winter, it wasn't actually, despite me being promised this all the time, it wasn't actually big enough to do what I needed it to do. So all that's been re-looked at, and we was planning for these guys to come in, rectify the problems, get the balancing in place, and actually add an additional boiler next to that one in order to give me the capacity. It still wouldn't actually be enough capacity, but if I had to start from zero with a cold air temperature, I'm talking -2, the calculations have been done at, to take it from there up to the temperatures I want, there wouldn't be enough clout there. We're talking needing almost 700 kilowatts of heat output, so around 10 of them boilers that I've got. Now, I can't explain all the witchcraft and voodoo that the buffer vessel does. Apparently it plays a big part, but the calculations they've done at various different air temperatures and keeping a 2-degree differential in it all. Seen it all, read through it all, it completely makes sense to me and does completely address the issues. They've done heat exchangers that have been assessed, the whole lot end to end. So that was all booked in. We was planning on doing that. in the not too distant future, because the heat system here is so important. However, before we got to that point, when I got back from Japan over the weekend, I noticed the heavy water running out of that boiler, and now, as I suspected, 'cause it's steaming hot water coming out as well, it was gushing out yesterday, and we've had to turn the whole thing off. So luckily next week all that lot's getting reconfigured. There's going to be another boiler sat in there, loads and loads of work being done, and balancing valves being fitted on every part of the system. But this is coming at a huge cost. I don't often dive into numbers around all this sort of stuff, but it's just to give you some idea. Now, if there's anybody in business out there watching, will know that being in business is not easy. When you scale it up as well, you get to the point where problems often just get bigger and bigger. Now, in this instance, we've spent a considerable sum getting that installation done on that side. Not a lot of work in there, in all fairness, but money was spent in there. But now, to be not too far really, what we've been half a year since that was really commissioned. This whole new, both boilers have got to be replaced, because unfortunately the dispute with the other plumber has meant that the warranty around that boiler is also in question. So the new guys are coming in, 2 new boilers, all the valves. I mean, the valves alone, I've had a look, they're about 130 quid to buy. Doesn't sound too much, but when you need 42 of them, it's mental. It's mental. It's really felt like one of them weeks. There's been more fish food, piles and piles, seems to get bigger every time being delivered. On top of, you've seen all the investment that's gone in around the place just recently. Something that kind of comes a bit unexpected, certainly the timing right now. It just flattens you a little bit. The total cost this time is going to be over £16,000 to get this installation and that bit done, to get the heating system back up and running. And it takes a fair bit of time to re-earn that money and get it done. That being said, it's just one of the problems we face. It's what we sign up to. But fuck me, it gets stressful. So yeah, I don't want to go with the old doom and gloom. It's really not. This is just shit we have to deal with. But I mean, we've got a leaking roof. Our office has started, getting a bit of a drip in there. Not only that, it's an ongoing problem. The zone valves on the heating system don't like this environment. A lot of damp, a lot of humidity fucks them up. I think there's around 15 of those that need replacing at the moment, which I think are 80, 90 quid a piece. I mean, fucking hell. This is just all that stuff behind the scenes that you don't often see, but it racks up. There's still investment needed to finish some of the showers and bits and bobs. So ultimately now we end up in a spot where plans you had have got to be paused, stopped, and you've got to obviously fix the most pressing issue first of all. So that's that little insight into the boiler saga. Right now I'm just figuring out the last bit of pond space for the fish arriving. A couple more to move, and it's not going to be long now before they're actually here. Yeah, look, just before we start unloading, the fish have arrived. We've finally got our boxes back. How sexy are they? The proper high-spec board. We had to suffer through this for a few months. It wasn't very nice. There's nothing like your fish arriving in style, is there? Oh yes. And the nice touch, these were all actually illustrations of fish that I've supplied over the years as well. Which is quite cool. Now to the serious business. The fish are here. Let's have a look. Here they are, look. Exciting stuff. Look at that, they're all excited, look like kids at Christmas. So I think I've said it before, bearing in mind this is a summer shipment. As I just left Japan, we're having days that were 38. These are new tosai as well. Come on a long journey, it's warm over here, but I've said it before about the quality of NND's prep. Everything, and just look at those. That is box just opened. They look as fresh as a daisy. I can feel it. Water temperature still actually feels quite cool. Hats off to the guys. Look at these, absolute sex on legs. NND DK Magic. One of the best looking batches of Shiros I've seen in years. Right, next up. Shiros, fabulous. And just on another note, already the arrival temp of them bags is remarkable. This box was actually something Fujo himself had a big hand in designing. Really brought this in, no one else was doing it. Credit to the man for what he's done. But yes, here look.
Do you want to put them in our...
NND Marusho Sanke, straight from my mud pond.
Yeah.
Amazing. Right, monumentous moment. Ricky Stoddart bred, Miss Toyota Offspring, finally on UK soil. Now let's have a word from a man who knew me when I was just about out of nappies.
It's been a long journey, Rick.
What do you reckon, Col?
It's been a long journey.
Some feet, innit?
It's more than that. It is exciting.
Did you see it coming all them years ago?
Yeah, I thought you'd had some treatment, but obviously you've not, so it's just continued.
Good lad. There they are, guys. There they are. So you will have seen all this. I'll post a link to the day on my trip when I acquired all this stuff to go alongside the Sankes and my Miss Toyota Showas. These DK Shiros, trust me, are out of this world. It is a stunning batch of Shiros. New season Tosai Gosanke from them guys as well. Looking fabulous. It's got all these ponds in here. And then one down there where the Miss Toyota Showas are. Honestly. So I have a habit of just getting my head down and getting on with shit like it's nothing, but monumentous moment. To think all them months back, even way back to us being, yes, we can go ahead with the spawning, to the would it happens, will we get anything, to being here right now with those fish here on UK soil. Still very early as well, but as you've seen from the video, they're a great size. I'll flip it and show you in a minute. It's bonkers. It is absolutely bonkers. Fucking awesome. There they are, look. That very still raw, massively immature colour. It's crazy. The journey's only just beginning. We're all going to see together now how these unfold. So before you, we've actually sold quite a lot to dealers. I have retained some here for myself. So as well as me having some available coming up, there's actually going to be numerous shops around the country. You'll actually be able to go see them and pick them in the flesh as well if you choose. Right, while I'm waiting for those to have a little while floating, here you can see the changes I've done to the spray bar, because previously they were not glued together in any way or into anything, and we've got this issue of them dropping into water. Doesn't sound amazing, but when you have to readjust them every day, pain in the arse. And they had a rubber end cap with the sharp clip on the end. So first of all, I've changed that to a threaded tank connector. Then at that side, now the stub in there is now glued into that tank connector, and the spray bar is controlled by those two unions. What that allows me to do is open the union at the back and change the angle of that one, and then I can open that other union and adjust the direction of the spray from it. Simple little things, just an upgrade to make life here easier. Obviously really easy just to screw that off and open it up as well for cleaning out. So yeah, the lads have now, since I did that one, all the others have been done. I just think there's yeah, a few small bits that still need gluing. But generally, this is what it's all about, making life easier. Yeah, that one's not part of that, not been glued. Union's not tightened up enough, look. But that'll be the idea when that union's off. You see, we can set that wherever we want, however we want, tighten that knuckle. Job's a good one. I'm doing some right old tinkering at a minute, aren't I? Who would have ever thought it? But it is still tying in with that keep it simple philosophy. That's more a make it simpler philosophy. So happy days. First bag of Shiros up. We've just done the Sanke actually, and I completely forgot to film it. Forgive me for that. However, wowzers. So these are Nisai right now. These were the level they've kept them in the fish house to raise them up to this level. That's the whole point of it. There's a reason why you can't often see small Shiros with this pattern level. Often they've just not had enough time or been kept in the right conditions to do it, and that's what they've done here. However, don't be mistaken, these will still fly, as I will prove to you when we set some aside for growing. I will grow these through to regular size Nisai by spring, as well as bringing some truly fantastic ones to market. Boom. Holy shit. And here we have those NND Gosanke, primarily Kohaku and Showa. You've followed those NND Kohaku with me now for a number of years on the channel, and this year I've been fortunate enough to get this batch, which gets them at a smaller size, a completely different price point to make them even more accessible, which I think is going to be cool. They've not got the same size because they've not quite had the same conditions. However, remembering that these are what, like 3-4 months old, sort of we're hitting kind of 17 to 20 centimeters. It's crazy. Just the same vibrant. You can see the structure sizes. Look, obviously the tone of the benny's not fully got up yet, but it's what shocked me was the level of the patterns of the fish. Really, really impressive stuff. And all the kind of patterns that you guys love. Yeah, look, another ball of absolute class. I'll tell you what, I don't like sharing. Oh Jesus, that stopped me in my tracks. Don't often like sharing fish straight out of the bag when they don't look the best. However, I'm doing this because I think it's credit where credit's due. Just look at the quality, even of the water. That's the water straight out of the bag. Condition on arrival, there's not even a bad smell. It's ridiculous how well they've been packed, and we're talking best parts of 90 fish per bag here as well. Well done, NND. Right, I'm officially on my way around to bail my axe. He's really struggling. How ready is he face from these bags?
Right, you can do it next one.
He's not learnt the Mr. Unagi skill of popping them bands. Come on, Matt. Come on, you're on camera now.
Pull and twist. Pull and twist. There we go. Easy.
Honestly, I've never seen such inability to open an elastic band on a bag. Resorted to scissors. What's that saying? Is it pay peanuts, get monkeys? Right, last ones. Seemingly they're finishing the last couple of bags. I wasn't having to expect to give a lesson. Never have I seen such commotion. I had to open a fucking bag of fish. Quality. I wish I could have recorded more of that. It was a laugh. However, big moment. They are looking amazing. I'm glad I've pounced on that. And how epic that we are in September. I think most people are thinking about the up and coming autumn harvest, and we're already on the tosai. It's awesome. So yeah, you're going to see more of that to come, but for now, let's have a look at those Miss Toyota babies. So here they are. Now I'm not forgetting, I mean, what are we, 3 months old on these? These are still such young raw Showa. So much to change, so much to happen. You've not even got the Benny colour yet, but that impressive size and strong body form already really showing through. It's fish like this, you see, look, there's elements of Shiroji sat in there yet that's got to change, come through. You've got Sumi actually in the process of sort of falling back, and that young baby Sumi don't look much of anything. It's really not easy picking these at this size. It's pissing it down, so I've just come inside, but the plan with those will be, during quarantine, I'm going to feed those exclusively on colour food. They have not had a single scrap of colour food anywhere near them. That is just raw 3-month-old colour. That's it. So that's what we're seeing. That stuff is easily changed by the use of colour food, toning it up, It's what all the breeders who harvest a crop like that, get them indoors, start feeding that colour food to make them look like the fish you would expect to buy. Because nobody wants to buy yellow orangey Benny, but it's quite easy to tone that up and turn it into the colour that you see. You see fish that kind of age and size, typically size really. Remember that, because breeders like Marusho will have that size, but the fish will probably be 8, 10, 12 months old, been fed on a lot of colour food to really tone it up, look completely different to how they're looking now. Even the other NND Gosanke you've seen, they've had about a month with some colour food on them as well, but you can already see the difference. So yes, exciting stuff. I think that's all part of the fun with those, that they are at such a stage, they're a challenge for everybody, and that's what's going to be the fun of raising. So that's it, they're in, they're covered over, happy days, and it's on to the rest of our work. I've had a very productive meeting today in relation to some of the software sort of side of the business we've been developing. Really hoping we've got something to come on that soon, and in the meantime, my filter, this now has been built up. Get that lid out of the way. Get that beauty bubbling. It's now up to the full 100 litres in there, which is 60% the capacity of the chamber. All working, an absolute treat, let me tell you. Delighted with it. Tower, the trickle filter, this side's still running a dream. So I think with where that's at, very soon this pond's going to be ready to get something in there where I can really start testing out the capacity of this thing.